And we have Stephen Carroll with us here on the set to help us do that. Stephen, let's start with the latest on this controversial deal to sell French warships to Russia.
Yeah, that's right. The French president has, in the past hour, said the delivery of those Mistral ships has been suspended until further notice. In a statement, François Hollande said the situation in eastern Ukraine didn't allow the Mistral ships to be handed over for now. The first of the helicopter-carrying vessels was meant to be delivered to Russia in October. It's a contract worth some 1.2 billion euros. Now, in response, the Russian Defence Ministry says it won't seek completion of that deal from now, but it's sure to be something we're hearing plenty more about.
All right, next now to the latest warning on the global economy.
Yeah, the Organisation of Economic Cooperation and Development says that weak growth in the Eurozone poses a major risk to growth around the world. It's called for a softening of tough budget rules to help struggling economies. In particular, the OECD says that 2015 budgets proposed by France and Italy contain the appropriate balance of cuts and stimulus measures. This comes as both Paris and Rome await formal approval from the European Commission for their spending plans for next year. Despite not meeting those EU-mandated deficit targets, France's budget is expected to be approved, but reports say the Commission will give Paris 4 months to make additional cuts that could reach up to 4 billion euros.
All right, Stephen, next, what's happening on the markets?
Well, investors in Europe said to be hoping for more central bank support, and that's helping shares move into positive territory in Europe to this midpoint of the trading day. In London, the DIY retail group Kingfisher has seen their shares fall by almost 5%. The group, which owns the Castorama brand here in France, saw sales fall by 9% in the past 13 weeks. That's worrying their investors. Let's also check in on what's happening on the price of oil. This ahead of the meeting of the OPEC oil-producing nations on Thursday. Oil has been falling pretty dramatically, about 30% since June, and those OPEC members are going to have to decide what they're going to do about that. The price of Brent crude, though, as you can see, stable today, but still under $80 a barrel.
All right, Stephen, Christmas season is upon us, and here in France, the traditional Christmas markets are getting ready for their big season.
That's right, and it's a particularly long tradition here in France as well. The first Christmas market dates back to 1570 in the eastern city of Strasbourg. Markets all over the country have become a huge draw for crowds, with 15 million people visiting the one on the Champs Elysées in Paris last year. It's big business too, though, as Oliver Farry now reports.
Strasbourg Christmas Market is the oldest in France, and also the most famous.
Mulled wine, get the best here. Because I made it myself, sir. That's what I'm good at.
500 years old, it laid the benchmark for Christmas markets in France, with a focus on artisanal handmade goods, attracting visitors from far and wide. And Christmas markets are big business. This company runs 8 in the Paris region. It specialises in organising trade fairs, and Christmas markets provide a booming seasonal venture.
Winter markets account for 50% of our turnover, so it's lucrative. If it weren't, we wouldn't be doing this.
But in many of the Paris markets, like on the Champs Elysées, renting a stand can cost up to 30,000 euros for the season, forcing many vendors to turn to cheaper wares made in China to sell. It's not quite in the same league as the Strasbourg market, to the regret of some city councillors.
There's nothing that is worthy of the Paris brand. There's nothing that contributes to the reputation of Paris, the reputation of the Made in France brand. We're here in a fun fair. Okay, it's nice, but what a great opportunity missed.
But the City Hall says trade laws mean foreign products cannot be excluded, nor are customers deterred. The Champs Elysées market welcomed 15 million people last Christmas.
Let's take a quick look now at some of the day's other business stories. And the oil firm Total is to face a criminal trial in France over allegations that it bribed Iranian officials to win oil and gas contracts. Legal sources say the company will be charged with corruption of foreign public officials. Total's already paid US authorities 320 million euros over the scandal. Honda says it failed to report more than 1,700 incidents to US regulators where people were injured or killed in its cars. The news emerged in an external audit commissioned by the Japanese carmaker in September. It comes as Honda's also facing criticism over the recall of cars fitted with faulty airbags. And the Dutch bank ING is to cut 1,700 jobs as more customers move to online banking. The lender's aiming to save 270 million euros annually by 2018. ING says the job cuts will mostly affect its retail banking headquarters as well as call centres and IT services.
All right, Stephen Carroll, thank you so much for that look at today's business news. Now, coming up after the break, the Iran nuclear peace talks are extended for another 7 months. We'll take a closer look at the real chances for success after the break. Stay tuned.